Coming up.
I think this might be the dumbest thing he does.
So Jimmy Kimmel, we got to make him great again.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. Look, the dumbest human beings ever. He should have listened to his wife. What a dope.
Trump completely lost it after Jimmy Kimmel roasted his marriage and his endless rants about the left, and you don't want to miss it.
I'm saying times like these, that I am grateful that we have stiff-spined, strong-minded leaders like Squirrel of the House Mike Johnson, who pulled Trump's little nuts out of his mouth for just a minute, long enough to assure us that he would never sink so low as to play politics with much-needed federal aid to our state.
He acts like California is his worst enemy, like he's been personally wronged by the entire state. In reality, he just hates the people that don't buy into his nonsense. He calls it Trump-proofing California, when really it's just California rejecting his chaos.
Gavin is doubling down on a fight Trump agenda. You know, are you saying that California, if they continue to aid and abet law breaking and harbor illegal immigrants, money from D.C. gets cut off?
Yeah, we're talking about conditions to this disaster rate. Look, there are natural disasters, but there are man-made disasters as well.
And which one are you?
This is what MAGA Republicans do. They act like natural disasters only deserve help if the victims vote the right way. They hand out billions in tax cuts to the rich, but hesitate to help working-class people who lost their homes to wildfires.
Not snow at Mar-a-Lago. That's when hell officially freezes over. But our commander-in-chief meteorologist he's coming here to LA on Friday to survey the damage from the fires and also to share his deep understanding of how we could easily get out of this mess.
The sprinklers, there's sprinklers in there like these right here that you see. None of them had any water in them. The sprinklers.
He really thinks California has a giant faucet to stop wildfires. Meanwhile, the real tragedy is people losing their homes, but he doesn't talk about that.
That makes no sense to anyone, including him. But nobody says anything. No one corrects him. The emperor, not only doesn't he have any clothes, he's in the shower waiting for a drip of water to come out.
They wanted to restrict you to 38 gallons of water a day. That sounds like a lot, but it's not. When you're a rich person and you like to take a shower.
That's right. Rich people like to shower. The poors prefer to live in filth. That's just how it is.
To him, it seems like the bigger issues are the billionaires who want to take extra long showers, and he also found a way to make the whole issue about himself. And speaking of Trump making things about himself, he made $6 billion overnight from a crypto project he launched days before taking office.
$6 billion out of thin air.
Every day. Do you intend to continue selling products that benefit yourself personally while you're president?
Well, I don't know if it benefited. I don't know where it is. I don't know much.
Money, sir.
How much?
Several $billion, it seems like, in the last several days.
Several billion? That's peanuts for these guys.
Anyway.
Imagine being so rich that you make billions and then shrug it off like you lost a $20 bill. He can't fully explain how healthcare works, but he can launch a crypto scheme and make more money in a week than most people will see in their lifetime. And nobody in the right has anything to say about this. It's all nothing to see here when Trump does it. Another moment where Jimmy Kimmel couldn't resist taking a shot at Trump was when he mocked his speech at CPAC.
2 hours and 2 minutes, Donald Trump gave what I believe we may look back on as his I Have a Dream speech. This was his longest speech since taking office. He went on and on. You could have left this speech, watched 2 episodes of Game of Thrones, come back, and he would still have been going. Be the dumbest thing he does.
Trump's speeches always feel like they have no ending. He rambles, jumps from topic to topic, and somehow still manages to say nothing of substance. Jimmy jokingly compares it to MLK's famous speech, but in reality, his speeches are the opposite. There's no vision, no unity, just hours of complaining.
The reason he's a flag hugger is because that happens to be one of his most lucrative money moves.
Now you can own a piece of history. A flag embraced by the President of the United States.
Look at the speech at this thing. The speech he gave it covered every subject imaginable. He even took time to talk about what a great invention TiVo is.
He's supposed to be talking about the future of the country, but somehow he's rambling about the TiVo like it's 2005. It's like listening to a grandpa who keeps getting distracted mid-story. Jimmy points it out perfectly. Who else would talk about outdated technology during a major political speech?
Every deal he's ever done, We're going to go into his finances. We're going to check his deals. We're going to check. These people are sick. They're sick. Unfortunately, you put the wrong people in a couple of positions, and they leave people for a long time that shouldn't be there, and all of a sudden, they're trying to take you out with bull. Okay?
Trump loves to act like his rants are some kind of genius, but it's just him getting mad and letting it all out. After all the jokes Jimmy made about him, he went off on Truth Social. He called him the worst host ever, said his monologue was just a guy trying way too hard, and even threw in a jab at George Stephanopoulos, calling him washed up. And of course, he couldn't resist complaining about the Oscars being too politically correct and unfair.
Trial, he has 34 criminal charges against him. He's still mad about the Oscars. This was 5 weeks ago. My parents don't even care anymore. The only person still talking about this joke is him. It really must have got to him. By the way, in case you missed it, let's show that one more time. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos.
He thought this was a banger of a post, but all it did was make him look even more bothered. The Oscars were a while ago, and yet he was still out here writing paragraphs. If Kimmel got under his skin this bad, imagine how he felt about all the legal trouble that was stacked up against him.
See if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth. Anyone? No? Well, thank you, President Trump. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
Jimmy roasted him effortlessly, and it made him mad. He was probably glued to his screen, firing off late-night rants. Maybe he thought if he posts enough, it will distract him from his actual problems.
I should be honored that the former president of the United States took time out of his busy schedule Googling Ivanka in bikini to rant about me, but he must not get how much I love this. It doesn't even add up. Either Feeble Knievel doesn't know that Al Pacino and I are different guys, or he didn't actually watch the Oscars he claims to have hated so much. He got everything wrong, and we know he didn't forget because, according to his top aides, he has an encyclopedic memory.
He knows exactly how to push Trump's buttons, and the funniest part is that Trump doesn't even get the references. He's out here confusing Al Pacino with Jimmy Kimmel, proving he doesn't even watch the show he claims to hate so much.
Stephen Miller, you know, he started, it's an interesting story, he started as a Russian sex bot. The rush of kissing Trump's beautiful ass in the most outlandish ways possible.
The most stylish president and first lady in our lifetimes are Donald Trump and Melania Trump. Donald Trump's a style icon. He changed American fashion.
Now, that is funny, but let's be real, nobody is out here trying to dress like Trump.
When Donald Trump gave a crowd in Indiana, Pennsylvania, yet another review of my performance at the Academy Awards.
He is the worst host in the history. He reads the whole thing, and then I think he said something like, ha, 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 he thinks he bothers me, or some crap like that. I said, he's one of the dumbest human beings ever. He should have listened to his wife. What a dope.
Instead of focusing on policies or actual leadership, he worked up over something that was harmless.
With me, what is this? When I die, I would like that to be the clip they play at the Emmys in memoriam montage. He even worked my wife in there. Should I be worried that Trump has mentioned my wife more times at his rallies this year than his own? I also want to point out the Oscars were more than 6 months ago. He's still stewing over this joke. He keeps bringing it up,
He loves to act like he's too important for late-night TV, but his actions say otherwise. If a joke from 6 months ago is still bothering him, that says everything. Real leaders don't waste time complaining about comedians. They focus on actual problems.
For a guy who is so obviously afraid of Kamala Harris, he can't stop yammering about how much smarter Joe Biden is.
She's not as smart as him. He's not smart. He never was smart. He wasn't smart 40 years ago. Always, he was a hale and hearty guy, well met. Did you ever hear Shakespeare? He was hale and hearty and well met, but he wasn't a smart person. But she is a very dumb person.
His opinions are all over the place. One minute he says Biden is dumb, and the next he's using him to insult Kamala.
Everyone but him is dumb. Everyone but him and this guy.
I wish that I could take you on our campaign plane and give you the perspective that I've gotten of this country in the past 7 weeks. This is the coolest, other than being a wife to this beautiful lady here and a father to our 3 kids, the greatest honor of my life has been running for this office.
What an unexpected delight this J.D. Vance has turned out to be.
J.D. Vance just repeats everything that Trump says. He switched from being a Trump critic to becoming his vice president. Another time where Trump went on a rant was on a podcast where he talked about his least favorite celebrities.
Jimmy Kimmel, we got to make him great again.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel's a loser. Look, we would do Jimmy Kimmel. I'd do Jimmy Kimmel. I did him a lot.
Yeah.
He used to greet me on the sidewalk outside of his studio. I'd come in. This was before politics, of course. But I'd come in, and he'd be standing on the sidewalk. Oh, sir, may I bring you in? He'd bring me in every time. And then I ran for politics. I never, got involved with him much. But
he used to enjoy having Trump on his show, but he's not the only one who's changed. Trump used to love the media. He made regular appearances and played along with the jokes. Now he calls them fake news. And Jimmy didn't suddenly turn on him. Trump just couldn't handle being the punchline. Kimmel jokes about Trump a lot, but it's not his whole show. He covers pop culture, weird news, and even delivers emotional monologues on real issues. He's been consistent long before Trump entered politics. The only difference is that Trump stopped being the guy he laughed with and became the guy he laughed at.
Stephen Colbert, all he does is talk about me. I don't watch it, but all he does is talk about me. Did you ever hear of Trump derangement syndrome? He's got it more than
He's got it for sure.
Well, Kimmel has it too.
Kimmel threw shots at us for having you on the first time.
He called us doofuses when we had you on.
You know what you do?
And guess what? We
ask
did
him how many.
what he did.
Ask him. Yeah, you do bigger. Yeah, you do. His show's dying. This one show is dying. Colbert is dying.
His go-to defense is always someone else's failure. Kimmel is still on air, still pulling in millions of viewers, and still making headlines. If his show was dying, why would Trump even care? It was a weak attempt at an insult, and Jimmy probably got a good laugh out of it. While Trump was rambling about how bad the media is, Jimmy did another funny segment on his debate with Kamala Harris.
Oh, this was a much better debate than the last debate. This is like the Lion King when Simba came back to a story that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, are eating the cats in the neighborhood.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that...
It sounds like he just says whatever pops into his head without fact-checking. The city itself has to come out and say there were no credible reports of anything like that happening, but that doesn't stop him.
Credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people on television saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Trump's favorite sources are the people on the television. It is the same move he always uses. He repeats something ridiculous and his followers will believe it.
At one point brought up Project 2025, which is a plan Trump's minions have cooked up to give Trump unprecedented power over our government.
You don't have any direct connection to
nothing. I know nothing about it.
I know nothing about Project 25.
I know nothing about QAnon. I know nothing about it.
I know nothing about the indictment.
I know nothing about...
At this point, his catchphrase might as well be, I know nothing. But the truth is, he knows exactly what he's doing. The lies, the distractions, the chaos are all part of the act. Every time he says he doesn't know something, it's because he doesn't want to take responsibility for it. Jimmy also brought up Trump's controversial relationship with his wife, Melania.
Hey, speaking of prisoners, this should be an interesting Valentine's Day at the White House. For instance, will Donald Trump get flowers from Vladimir Putin? We don't know. And what about his wife, Melania? Will they spend the night together, or will she remain trapped like Rapunzel at their apartment in New York?
People have been saying for years that Melania hardly even lives with Trump. His over-the-top reaction just makes it funnier, like he buys the idea that their marriage is more of a business arrangement.
Cute. Another one. Starts with Be Mine. It's Donald and Melania. The code to my security gate is star 4386 star. And a more personal card, this one, to my Valentine. I will be waiting on the roof of tower at dawn, signal from ground with 3 flashes. I will jump, catch me or don't, either way better off.
It is exaggerated, but that's what makes it funny. And who to better pull it off than Jimmy Kimmel? What do you think about Jimmy's take on Trump? Let us know in the comments section below.